Hi, I'm Jim Munchback, and I love to help busy professionals create content to share your awesome ideas anywhere, anytime, on any platform. I've been working with a group of financial professionals really all of my career. I've worked with financial professionals, and one of the things that I've found is that we spend a tremendous amount of money as professionals, busy professionals, and we go to courses, we get executive coaching. And one of the things that we complain about is that we get these great ideas, we soak it up like a sponge. We go home, we put it to work. And then once we use some idea, some awesome idea, some principle, some tool, and it works for us, but then we kind of forget about it. And so that's a recurring pattern in our lives. And so this group of financial planning professionals that I've been meeting with for about 20 years at the Doug Carter Summit, you're seeing on your screen some footage from Mount Shasta, California. That's where Doug Carter is from. And our group, we call it the Doug Carter Summit. We're a group of financial planning professionals who have shared a tremendous number of awesome ideas with one another. And we agreed in our last meeting in Denver that we were going to create the Doug Carter Library. And the purpose of the library is to have a repository for these awesome ideas. And so I wanted to share in this video how we're going to do that, some of the ways we're going to do that, and the 7 tools we'll use or can use that you can use to create the content to share your awesome ideas. Maybe you want to share your ideas with your team. If you're a financial planning professional like myself and most of the folks in this video, maybe you want to share with your team. Maybe the new advisor that you want to hire. I want to hire some new advisors. I want to bring on some new team members. And so there's lots of these awesome ideas that I've learned from my group, our little mastermind group. We've been meeting for almost 20 years. Twice a year we get together and we share awesome ideas with one another. And so I want to have that library for my benefit and for my team's benefit. And so that's what we're working on. And I mentioned in the last episode of the Salty Advisor podcast that that's what will be the focus of this season on the podcast. So in this video, I just want to show you 7 tools that we can use to create the content, to share our awesome ideas. So let me go back to the opening here and just mention a couple of things. We've got email. One question that comes up on a regular basis is, what do folks don't want to share some things. We share some amazing things in our group, but we don't always want to share them with the world because of compliance issues and whatnot. So for whatever reason you may not want to share, we can use email to create that content and decide whether or not you want to share it, where you want to share it, and so forth. Another thing that I've done is I've created, if you go to www.dougcarterlibrary.com, you'll see this page. And I created this page just to kind of as a starting point for the library. But I set up a GroupMe. GroupMe is just a tool for sharing content and communicating with one another. It's a closed group, so I will monitor who joins that group. If you're part of the Doug Carter Summit, click on that link, join the group, and we will have a great conversation if that's what you want to do. I'll be moderating the group unless we get another volunteer, and you can be that volunteer if you want to moderate the group. It's worked really well. I've used GroupMe for many years. Few years. It's the number one choice by my students at the Bauer College of Business at the University of Houston. So each semester I set up a new GroupMe group for the cohort that we're working with that semester. So I set one up for Doug Carter, for the Doug Carter Library. So that's one that we will look at. Another one is just Zoom. So Zoom is, you will see a link like this on all of my websites, whether you're looking at, if you look at Bayrock Financial, my company is Bayrock Financial, and on my website there you'll find Zoom, Meet, free consult, whatever. It will take you to a Zoom meeting link like this one. That should take you to my Calendly. So if you want to meet that way, and this is a great tool, Zoom is a great tool for creating content. Imagine being interviewed. I know most of the folks in our group have done amazing things. And just to have an interview where I ask you questions and then do a little post-production would be a lot of fun, and we could create some cool content. There's so many ways to create content, and it's a kind of a hobby of mine to create content and play with things. So I'm playing with a new toy right now, and as I'm doing it, I'm creating some content. It's not very helpful content, but it's kind of fun. So anyway, Zoom meetings are a great way to just create content and have a conversation, and we can have lots of conversations. We each have an abundance of amazing, awesome ideas, and every time we get together, we share them with one another. And we can, and I encourage us to do that with Zoom. In fact, in the next episode, I'm going to just kind of fast forward and talk about the next episode that I'm working on. Is I'm going to be creating my story about how I met Doug Carter. So you don't want to miss that. I don't want to miss that. But that's what's coming, and that's what I'm going to ask each of the folks in our group to think about doing, and we could do that in a Zoom meeting. That'd be a very easy way to do that, is with a Zoom meeting. And you could interview one of your, just like we do when we get together in the summit, we have conversations with one another. And from those conversations, we walk away with some awesome ideas. So I have so many awesome ideas I want to share. I'm going to try to avoid doing that right now, but this video is just about 7 tools we can use to create content to share our awesome ideas. So I want to highlight, let me see, before I do that, let me just jump over here. So email, GroupMe, Zoom, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, by the way, this video is being live streamed right now to LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, and if you're like me and you love LinkedIn, LinkedIn is my favorite. It's my favorite social media platform, because LinkedIn is like it's like Facebook for professionals, and I really like Facebook. I mean, I don't like Facebook. I meant to say I really like LinkedIn. I don't really like Facebook, but this is being streamed live right now to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, where else? X, Twitter. So my point is just that we can create content and we can make it available on platforms in a very easy way. And I can help you create content that's more professional than this video. But this video is just a tool to communicate to you, my friends, how we can start to move forward in creating that library for Doug Carter. For us, the Doug Carter Library is for us. So the last thing I want to talk about, I think it's the last thing I want to talk about. So I told you this is going on YouTube, on my new channel. If you haven't subscribed, it's at Jim Munchback. But YouTube is a platform, and if you're not taking advantage of it, you'll probably want to do that, and I can show you how. So YouTube is one way. I already talked about the podcast. This is also being streamed to the podcast, the Salty Advisor podcast. This season of the Salty Advisor podcast, we're working on we're really focusing on the Doug Carter Library, because we have some awesome ideas that we want to share with one another, with our team members, with people we love. There's so much cool stuff that we have to share. And so I'm using a platform that I have called the Salty Advisor podcast to do that. And so if we have an interview, if we have a conversation, if you have an awesome idea that you want to share, I'm happy to share that on the Salty Advisor podcast. And if you're not part of the Doug Carter Summit, but you are connected with me on LinkedIn and you have an awesome idea that you want to share, hit me up. We would love to do that. So this is really for our Doug Carter Summit group, but I'm happy to expand that to benefit the community of financial professionals that I have connected with me on LinkedIn. So back to the list, LinkedIn, YouTube, podcast. Now, finally, I just want to go back to the Thinkific. This is, when you see that building, that's the little icon I used to just for a course, a school. So if you click on that, it'll take you into a Thinkific course. Now, this will be the home of the Doug Carter Library. And I gave it a name, but it's actually a different course that I just cloned in Thinkific because that's super easy to do. And I wanted you to see what's possible in a course, the way that it's housed, the way that it's put together. And so we will have an organized library, and I will make a Thinkific course for that purpose. We may come up with better technology in the future. We may decide we want to give the Doug Carter Library a different home. But for now, this is a great way to do it. I've been teaching with Thinkific ever since COVID, and it's a really easy to use. I will share with you in a future video how we can create content inside the course. It's super easy, super flexible. And so I'm going to leave that there. And that's it. That's really what I wanted to talk about in this video. But before I let you go, I want to share a fun little video that I found that I put together a couple of years ago for our Doug Carter Summit group. And this was, I believe we did this in Mount Shasta. But I'm going to play it, then I'll come back and say goodbye. Well, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back and participate in the Doug Carter Library. Again, sign up by email if you haven't already done so. You can do that anytime. Just go to Salty Advisor Podcast and sign up. There's an email sign up at the bottom of the page. And if you want to be notified when we post a new video, when we post new resources in the Doug Carter Library, all you got to do is subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. And thanks for watching.